Today, I'd like to talk to you about taking your businesses to the next level, the legacy level. And it doesn't matter whatever stage your business is at, I believe that you want to take it to a level that will be remembered long after you've gone. Whether you're the owner of the business or you're an employee, I believe this will apply to you. In the business that Nina has spoken about, Lloyd Corporate Capital, our goal, our objective is to take businesses, and quite often individuals as well, to the next level, regardless of wherever level we find them at. We try and take them to that next level. In that business, we have three main components. Money power, which properly phrased is private equity, funding and management. Mind power, or more correctly called corporate advisory services. And manpower, which you probably would associate it or call it human capital development. And in our work in the mind power and the manpower spaces, we constantly ask ourselves the question, why is it that in Africa, most family businesses die with the owner? Why is it that in Africa, most family businesses die with the owner? Whereas in other places in the world, the death of the owner of the business signals a forward movement in that business. What is wrong with Africa? What have we not done right? What are we getting wrong? Which one of the business owners sitting here today would like to know that after their death, your business that you worked so hard to build will die in no time? That your legacy will be forgotten soon after your death. Effectively, that you'll have no legacy for your children and your grandchildren to talk about. Or which one of you that are employees in family businesses would want to believe that as soon as the boss is gone, your job is over? That all those loved ones that depend on you will suddenly have no one to support them? That all those years of your blood, sweat, and tears are now worth nothing? Which one of us here would like to know that the lifestyle that we have worked hard for and become so accustomed to and enjoy will cease immediately or soon thereafter because of the passing on of somebody? You're probably thinking that I'm exaggerating with some of the things that I'm saying, but these are facts. We have for you on the screen, we have done an exercise, and we've got 4 companies that I'd like to just go very quickly through with you. I've called the companies A, B, C, and D because they're basically conveying bad news, and I did not have permission from the owners of the business or from the people responsible for the businesses to talk about their information, but the rest of the facts are true. If you look at company A, the founder of the owner of that business died in 2001. At the time of his death, that business was worth $12 million. A year later, it was worth $10 million. 2 years after his death, in 2003, that business was worth $8 million. In 2009, 8 years later, it was worth $1 million. That business is now gone as we speak. The same thing will apply to business B and to business C and to business D if you read them in the same format. However, I must say that business B was saved by a private equity fund similar to the kind of thing that we do, but it wasn't us. Those businesses, ladies and gentlemen, are in Africa. Those businesses are businesses that if I were to give you the names, you'd be able to relate, to remember if you are in my age group. But some of you that are much younger will not probably know them only as history records. So let's now compare those businesses with businesses elsewhere. Look at Ford Motor Corporation. So we all know Ford Motor Corporation. Founded in 1903 from scratch. Today, it's got revenues of $163.4 billion. It employs 350,000 plus people. And the family still owns 40% voting stock in that business. McCain Foods. This was founded in 1957 by the McCain family, and it is now the world's leading maker of French fries. The family split to form a rival company, Maple Foods, and Maple Foods is now Canada's second largest food processor. The revenues there are also over $4 billion and employing 18,000 people. We go to a company called Pottery International. You probably know this from the chocolates. They are the guys that talk about a glass and a half of milk in a chocolate bar. They were founded in 1824 by John Cadbury. And if you look at their revenues, these are 2011 revenues, 11.3 billion pounds, and employs 71,657 people. The profits speak for themselves. Look at Samsung. I'm sure most of us can relate to Samsung. But Samsung was founded in 1938 by Lee Byung-chul. And today it is the world's largest cell phone maker since 2012, having taken over from Nokia. It's the world's largest producer of memory chips, and it is the same company that created the first LCD screen that we now love so much. It's generating $327 billion a year and employs 427,000 people. Some analysts have said that Samsung probably contributes 26% of that country's GDP. That's a family business. That's what your family business can do. So when we look at all of these things, all of these issues, you compare it with the companies in Africa that I've shown you, you compare it with the companies in other parts of the world that we've looked at very briefly. What lessons can we learn? What lessons are we learning from there? First lesson there for me is shared family vision and values. Everybody in the business needs to be pulling and pushing in the same direction for that business to succeed. The vision is clear, it's got to be shared, and it's got to be agreed. It is easier to agree to a set of values within a family than with outsiders. When the values are common, the road ahead is much, much easier to ride. Remember, I need to tell you this though, we're talking about values, but you cannot teach values to another person. Doesn't matter how much of a good teacher you are. If your values are different to my values, you cannot teach me your values and you expect me to inculcate them in the same way that you hold them dearly. So you got to employ people that have the same value system as yourself on the upfront, as opposed to trying to deal with it at the tail end. But what happens when those shared values and that vision is different within the family? Because it will be different. They're different individuals. Let's look at the Maple case. The Maple case that came out, the Maple company that came out of the McCain group of companies, they were allowed to move away and set up a different company. But because they set it up as a company with the values that they subscribe to as that group of the family, that is now the second largest food processor in Canada. Again, it's a family business. Let's look at lesson number 2. Continuous growth. You've got to continuously grow. If you're not growing, you're dying. That's how simple it is. A growing business is a happy business. You've got to grow organically, you've got to grow by acquisitions. Preferably, it's got to be a mix of the two. If you look at Samsung, it went through various stages, and I could go through all of them and so on. But whatever it is that you do in any business, you must grow. You've got to grow the product, grow the geographical reach, you've got to grow the market share, grow the sales, grow the turnover, grow the bottom line. Just grow. You've got to grow, especially the people. You've got to grow the people. There's a saying that says, if your vision is for a year, grow rice. If your vision is for a decade, grow trees. If your vision is for a lifetime, grow people. Nina taught me that one. I'm very passionate about growth. And that's one of the things that I'm really looking at the businesses that we're involved in, and we're involved in a number of businesses back home. And where the business does not show growth signs, we either kill it, close it, or sell it. Let's go to lesson number 3. Very simple for me. You let go, but stay in touch. I mentioned in the slide earlier on that the Ford Motor Company, it was started by the Ford family. To this day, they're still in touch. They still own 40% of the voting shares. They still want to maintain that vision. They still want to make sure that that vision, those values that they started the business with, are still inculcated in the people. The things will be done differently. They'll be done at different times, but the vision and the values, the underlying matter, is still going to be controlled by them. This is important. There's a story of the elephants at the Kruger National Park. I'm not sure if you know it. What happened is conservationists wanted to cull the elephants, and they decided that they're going to take out all the bulls and all the old elephants and take them to another game park. They did that. Within a very short period of time, probably a month or so, there was chaos. The young bulls were doing what they wanted to do. They were going into people's homes. They were just tearing the fences, bringing down the trees. So they brought experts all over from all over the place to say, tell us, what is going on here? What is the issue here? After a lot of study, a lot of discussion, an old man who'd been sitting in the back said, what happened to the big old bull elephant? And everybody said, no, we don't need them anymore. They're of no use here. That's it. He said, bring them back. They listened. They brought them back. Within a week, everything was back to normal. You need that old touch, that old man's touch. You need to have the people or the older people to monitor, to mentor the younger guys in the business. Lesson number 4, you need to be intentional about succession. No one is irreplaceable. It doesn't matter what you think. If you think you're irreplaceable, think again. Number 5, bring in skills you don't have as a family. Generally, you find that in most families, particularly in business, if grandpa was an engineer, the son will be an engineer, the grandson will be an engineer, and the great-grandson will also be an engineer. Now, businesses need more than that. So you need to decide as a family the skills level that you have in the family and the skills levels that you're going to bring from outside. You're not going to be in a situation where, as a family, you have the accountant, the marketing guy, the production guy, and the HR guy. It's very rare. So you decide where the core that the family is going to hold is going to be, and then you bring in the other outside skills by buying them in. So what do we need to do now? I've given you the 5 very quick lessons that I believe we've learned from some of the studies that we have done on our side. What is it that you need to do tomorrow, starting tomorrow, going forward, for you to make sure that your legacy lives on? For the entrepreneur, you've got to visualize your company and say, what is it going to look like in 5 years' time after I'm gone? Because we begin to see that the 5-year period is a very critical period. So as an entrepreneur, you say to yourself, what do I want my company to look like 5 years after my death? And you start working towards making that happen. And as an employee, what you need to be saying is, when the boss is no longer here, and please, I'm not saying wish that your boss dies. No. But you need to be saying, when the boss is no longer here, what will this place look like? And you make sure that you start working towards making the place you're working at now look like the place that you'd like to see in 5 years' time when the boss is gone. These are very quick five quick lessons that I've given you. And it's then up to you to apply them. And hopefully you'll learn more as you apply them. And all the best in your applying them. And hopefully it will move your businesses, it will move you as individuals to the next level. Thank you very much.